Welcome to Wednesday with Collecting Chaos. My name is James, and I'm starting it early because Horizon Picks just finished his channel, and hopefully some people will come over and watch. I've sent out a link for people that would like to join me to different areas, and we're going to have some fun with that, hopefully. Secrets Collectibles is here. Or at least he was here. I don't know if he still is or not. I always start out the show by showing what I have done over the last week as far as pressing. Tonight, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to show you some of the things I received over the last week. And of course, the big one is the Harley Quinn to go with my Poison Ivy. So obviously I'm not going to be selling Poison Ivy because I did get the Harley Quinn. And it's probably the most awesome version of Harley in a doll form or an action figure I've ever seen. And it's Barbie, but that's okay. We don't mind. I'm hanging on to those. They're not going anywhere. I'll probably put them back in the shipping boxes they came in just to make sure they stay nice until I get a permanent place to display stuff like that. So what did I press this week? Well, I wanted to experiment with some newer comics to make sure I could get those pressed right. So the first one I pressed this week was Pink Dust, Morphine Dreams by James O'Barr. And it turned out really, really nice. I have the settings down. I can press newer comics now, lower heat, and it just worked out really nice. Then I pressed, and that one is available. This one will be available to sell. The same price that I had it at, which was, I think, $15. Then I have, I pressed this, Sad Sack and the Sarge, number 53. I'll probably stick this in my collection. I haven't decided yet. I might decide to sell off all my Harvey comics. Like I said, haven't decided yet. I pressed this, which is the Marvel Richie Rich movie comic. And, of course, this is a newsstand. And it also came out it made the comic look so much nicer than what it did before. I'm still going to keep the $10 price tag on that, though. Now, this next one, there wasn't much I could do to make it look better, but I wanted to press it anyway just to see what it would turn out as. And it didn't help it much. It's Marvel Comics presents a number 99. Sam Keith did the art on the covers. But you see, it's got this big chunk out of the bottom of it, so it's not worth anything. I just wanted to press it as practice. Not that I need practice, but it always just comes out nice. And then I did a Casper's Ghostland and All His Friends. This one is also kind of in my collection. It's one of those maybe I'll sell it, maybe I'll keep it ideas. Haven't decided yet. Then I pressed Archie's Girls, Betty and Veronica. This is number 170. And of course, 15-cent price tag puts it late Silver Age, early Bronze Age. So that's another one that I pressed. Turned out really nice. I pressed this Incredible Hulk 191. This is available for sale if I can find the price on it. Yeah, I had $10 on this, and I'll probably leave that price on it. Again, it turned out really nice. Now, I went back to the well because I wasn't happy with the way it came out. It was good, but I thought it could be better. So I repressed this E-Man number 2 again, and it's just as flat as can be now. You can see where those wrinkles were because there was some wear at the edge, but it's flat. Yeah. What did they decide what the signature actually was on that? And Mr. Yu, if you want to come on, I put the link over in our Friday night chat on Instagram. Here's a Laugh 276. This is part of my collection. For those that don't know, I've just decided to to admit that I actually do collect Archies. You get 5 short boxes of Archies, you got to kind of admit that you're a collector. Then I pressed this Wonder Woman number 105 by John Byrne. Again, it wasn't in bad shape, but now it's a little bit better. And I had $10 on this one. First appearance of Cassie Sandsmark. I got a little crazy and decided to press this copy of Captain Carrot and His Amazing Zoo Crew number 1. It does have a little problem up here in the corner. Other than that, it's a really nice copy, and it's even better now that I've pressed it. Here's an older Archie comic. This is from 1959. This, again, is part of my collection. I've started pressing my older Archies. There's Captain Carrot and His Amazing Zoo Crew number 2. Now, these will be up for sale. I don't know if they'll be for sale this Friday, but they will be up for sale. I picked up a bunch of posters this week, too, and I'll show you a couple of those later on. Here's an Archie 190. This had some really bad creases, bad bends in it. Now it has the creases, but the bends are gone. So I'm happy with the way that turned out. This comic was in really sad shape. I ended up repairing the spine. I did it in an archival manner. That means it can be removed. Everything I did to it can be removed. I didn't attach the cover to the comic. And that's because you can see it was so weak. I had to put the Dingujo paper on both the inside and the outside. And you can still see a little bit. I might have to add a little bit more glue to get that to fade. But it turned out pretty nice. Patrick, glad to see you. Glad you could stop in. I decided to press my Devil Dog Dugan number 3 from 1956. I had this up for sale for $35, kind of thinking about keeping it. I really like the cover. It's a Joe Sinnott cover. I'm waffling on selling it. I really like the way it turned out. Of course, it has a lot of creases. It's in mid-grade condition, but it still turned out decent. And here's another Archie 192 that I pressed. This one turned out really nice, considering it's got damage to it. Go back to Captain Carrot and His Amazing Zoo Crew number 3. Again, this one will be up for sale. Just not sure when. Now, I showed a comic last week, and I offered it dirt cheap. Nobody hit on it. Everybody was impressed with it. Nobody hit on it. So I thought, let me clean it up. Let me press it, see what happens. I was blown away. It turned out really, really nice. Of course, it does have that strike through the price, but yeah, you can't hardly tell that it had water wrinkles on it. Really turned out nice. I will offer this up for sale again. I don't know if it'll be this Friday, but I will offer it up again. Then I got some Rima, the Jungle Girls, one of which I did a video on the preparation I go through when I do a pressing. But I have a few here that I pressed already. I don't have number 7 available, but I am going to talk about it a little bit. I've got number 2. That turned out pretty nice. I think I already have a copy of this, so I'll have to compare this to the one I have, and one of them will probably be up for sale. Matter of fact, I know I have another copy. It's just not sure which one. Then I have number 3, and this one I'll be keeping because I didn't have a copy. It has a tear up here. I'm not going to bother fixing it. I'm just going to leave it like it is. Turned out pretty nice. And number 5. And again, these I'm keeping for my collection. So that's what I pressed this week. 21 comics. What can you do? I press a lot of comics. 3 a day. I press 3 a day. 8 hours apart. So let's go ahead and talk for a minute about that Rimas number 7. Because I did a 3x5 card, and I recommended everybody do this. Well, I didn't go into why I think you should do it, because this has all the defects that were on that comic. And I marked through one because I cleaned the dirt off the back cover. It looks amazing. At least I think it looks amazing now. And it's still in the process, in my pressing process. So I'll probably show it next week. But because I have this 3x5 card with every defect, if I were to decide to offer this up on eBay, I've got all the defects. I can put those all in the description. When somebody gets that comic, there's nothing they can say. They can't say, well, he didn't mention that, because I got it all here. So that's another good reason why you should consider doing that. Especially if it's a comic you intend on selling, go over it with a fine-tooth comb, find out everything that's wrong with it, write it on a 3x5 card, just slip it in the back of the comic, slip it in the back of the bag or the bag, and so you always have it with it, and there you go. I did it on another one that I will be pressing probably tomorrow, or maybe tonight, I don't know. This Black Dragon number 2, I did a 3x5 card on it, and there's a lot more. I mean, John Bolton is the artist. That's a selling factor because he's amazing. I found that the centerfold has a little staple tear. Now it's not loose, but you can see the staple through the back side, which you shouldn't be able to do. And it's got cover bends and a cover smudge up here. And I wrote all that stuff down because I do plan on selling that sometime. Oh boy, let me show you some of the other stuff that I picked up that I plan on offering on Friday night, on my Friday night sale. Starting with a Batman Hot Wheels. This is a 2024 one, so it's a newer version. And I knew I had to pick it up. I'll probably ask like $5 for it. I don't know. Not a lot of money. And then I picked up some other things that I just thought were cool, like this heavy hitcher. And I'll be offering that on Sunday. It's basically a tow truck. I always like the tow trucks on Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars. And, you see a 64 Chevy Chevelle SS, you got to pick it up. So I grabbed that one. I mean, and this last one is called the Tankinator. And how could I resist picking that up? So those are some Hot Wheels that I'll be offering on Friday night's sale. And then I have these, which I think I showed these last week, but I'm going to show them again. Monster trucks. So there I'll be offering those. Going broke again. And of course I showed this on Horizon Picks channel, but I'll show it again now. I couldn't resist it. When I saw that, I thought, yeah, I have have to get that and offer that up for sale. It is a refrigerator magnet. The magnet does work, as you can see. We'll just put it right there. Yes, Mega Monster Trucks. Roy. Yeah, I started early. I started right after I got back with a fresh cup of coffee. Yes, Alien Elvis has come back to the building. Here's some more things I didn't show. I have 4 different ones of these. These are Bambinos from 1968, and they're the Christmas Bambinos. This is Dave Justice and Mark McGuire. Of course, he seems to have lost some of his beans, so I guess he's not juicing like he used to. Alex Rodriguez. I believe that's who that is. Supposed to be. Yep. And Ken Griffey Jr. And I will be offering those also on Friday night because they're cool. I'll offer them at an individual price or people can buy all 4. And of course, I've got the donut. Everybody needs a glitzy clip donut, right? Something else I plan on offering on Friday night is this one at a bare minimum, but I may have several trade paperbacks offered for sale. Yeah, I know he was A-Rod, but what can I say? Like I said, if I sent you the link or if I sent a link out to one of the Instagram posts and you've got it and you want to come on, you're more than welcome to join me. Let's see. Got one more thing I got to show that I picked up. I haven't decided if I want to sell it or not. It's a poster. It's a Punisher poster, so nobody's going to want it, right? Or will they? That's right. A Punisher poster signed by Mike Zeck. And I haven't decided if I want to sell it or not. But I think if I do, I would start the bidding at around $25 and see where it goes from there. Because it's a Mike Zeck signed poster. Where are you going to find one of those? So that's most of what I'm going to be offering on the Friday night sale. Maybe more. It depends on how it goes and how much more time I have. Yeah, I think it's a cool poster too. I've got other posters too. I got a ton of posters. These are a few of the promotional posters that I got. And I'm thinking I might just send this one out with anyone that buys the Bishop XSE #1 that I have. I haven't decided yet, but that's one of the ones that I got. And I don't know if you remember this comic or not, but this came out around 1991 or 1992, maybe. I actually had that series. I enjoyed it. Got a nice Dan Brereton poster here for the Psycho. Of course, myself and Roy are big Brereton fans. I'm not sure who did the art on this one, but I really like it. I suspect it's Michael Netzer. And this one I just don't remember. But I figured I'd show it anyway. Maybe somebody else remembers the series. The Agency Files. And of course, somebody mentioned Jim Lee on Horizons, and I have a Jim Lee poster, the Fantastic Four Rebirth that was done in the 90s. Not to be confused with the newer one that they did, because Marvel doesn't know how to do anything but keep going back to the well. Have the Black Lightning poster. Always liked this one. And here's one that I suspect Jocelyn is going to be mad because I'm going to offer it to everybody. And like I said, I don't know if I'm going to offer these on Friday night or not. It depends on how things go. But because they're folded, these won't cost as much to ship. That's the 1991 annuals for Spider-Man. And I really liked this poster too. I'm tempted to keep this one. It's the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Volume 2. Can get it open. I liked the movie too. I read the comics and I liked the movie as well. Toxic Crusaders. It's a Sam Keith poster. Had to, absolutely had to show this one. But this isn't a single-sided poster. You see, this is a double-sided poster. And then we've got from Bravura. These are pretty old posters, actually. Most of them are. Power and Glory. Bravura, of course, was part of Malibu, which was bought by Marvel in the mid-90s. This one is Starman. I will admit to planning to keep one of these. I ended up with two of them, so I'll end up keeping one of them probably. Marvel Mini Mates. I have no idea who did the artwork on that. I think that one's a little newer. Third World War. Not sure why that one's in there. Hadn't planned on it. Dark Days. Some of these I'm not familiar with because they came out at that time when I had no money and couldn't afford to buy anything. X-Men. Of course, that's John Byrne. I like this one. Margot. The original promo posters for the Batman Chronicles. Generation X for the TV show, the ad for the TV show. Like I said, I picked up some posters. This one's just awesome. Werewolf Wild West. And this one I think was actually for a game. It might be wrong. Yeah, it's a role-playing game. But, I mean, it's Deadlands. And it's a cool poster. And I dropped the other one on the floor, so, you know. But it wasn't important. It was just Avengers. So that's a few of the posters that I picked up this week. It's not all of them. I also picked up a Preacher poster, which I'm really stoked about that because I had one before. It was destroyed in the flood from 2007. So now I have another one, and I consider my Preacher collection complete now. So let me catch up on the chat here. Mostly Horizon picks. Hey, Roy, you want to come on and show some of what you've been pressing this last week? Like I said, I'll be showing some of that stuff, and I don't know that I'll be offering any posters on Friday night. It depends on how it goes. I'll probably save those for a different night. With the exception, I have to make up my mind over the next 24 hours if I want to sell that Mike Zeck Punisher poster or not. There he is.
What is going on, KK? How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Pretty cool posters. I was just having some pretzels. These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Get some coffee.
A beverage.
Did you ever notice my mug is a Star Trek mug?
Nice.
But I've never had offered it up for sale because it's got a cracked handle.
Yeah. No good.
I mean, I know somebody would probably buy it anyway, but I don't want to do that.
That's right. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see some folks hanging out in the chat. I see Mr. Unknown. And again, appreciate everybody that came out and saw the preview that we had. Had a couple of us were on. I know it's pre-holiday evening for folks. Appreciate everybody that comes out and is watching us. But yeah, I wanted to show that action figure because I know we were talking about pressing, and this one I showed this on on Instagram, but I didn't take a before image, and I should have, but I just got Chaos. I get excited, and you can really see. If you look, I pressed this and I lined it up. I lined it up and it came out really nice. So again, I just pressed this action figure, just this portion, right? So basically just sandwiched this into the press, and I was very careful to avoid the glue in this area. But this top of this action figure was completely like, it was like an S. And you can really see, I mean, how the press just, man, it just does such a great job. Look at that. And I did put it in about 18 hours of a cold press afterwards, as I did it like a day and then overnight a whole nother night. So you could see here, you could kind of see here some stresses that have been flattened out. It does break color there on the hang part, but man. So again, KK, opens up a new door. Honestly, if I was to find, not for nothing, if I'm able to find some action figures now that certainly have a higher value of this, but I could get them cheap enough where there's not color breaking, I mean, it could be a good result, I think. So I was psyched to do this. I did this, and then I did a book, just an actual like a pamphlet size type book. And I did children's books I've done, and now I did this. I actually did. I have it here. Let me show it to you.
And of course, I had to rib you about leaving the sticker on.
Yes, I did, and I could still take it off if I wanted. It's actually not here.
It's a little more difficult to take the stickers off once you've pressed them, but it can be done. You just have to be more patient.
One other thing that I pressed that I was really, it barely fit in my press. I had to trial and error it, but I did do a vinyl record sleeve, the cardboard sleeve. I took the vinyl out, obviously, and I pressed a vinyl record as well as the sleeve, and it was all bent up. And man, it's such a great thing. I'm psyched. I've had that press, KK, since before I knew you, and it's just been sitting in my garage. And I was like, let me take this out and start.
Well, you had bought it to do T-shirts, right?
Yes, I haven't even done that yet. I had a vendor that has some of the DTF transfer sheets. I think they bought out like a boardwalk, like T-shirt shop, and has tons and tons of them. And it's just a matter, they're out of Philly, and it's just a matter of me making a deal. They're going to send me a chunk, but it's got to be worth it for them in bulk. And for me, I get the shirts. It's a timing thing. I'll probably do it.
It's a crapshoot.
Right.
They might sell, they might not.
Right. And there's work involved and da 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 da. So
yeah, but your action figure turned out pretty nice. Definitely better than this.
Yeah, I mean, if it was worth it to do it, then you could give it a shot. I mean, this, I don't even know where I got this, but I was looking through my action figures. I have tubs of them, and I found this guy, and I was like, this is a good candidate, because there really wasn't too much besides right here.
Yeah.
Wasn't too much color breaking creases, and it did pretty good. So.
Well, even if you have a color breaking crease, if that will pull it out, I mean, it's a plus. The bad part about that, when you have a crease, a lot of times, even though you press it, that crease it's weakened the cardboard. It's going to keep coming back.
Right. Yeah. I kind of, I pressed, what else? I pressed the Spider-Man 129 repop. And that was the funny thing. I told some friends of mine this when I was at that indoor flea market. I was like, the guy, there's people, they have little booths. It's indoor. It's a large indoor flea market, but people's spaces are very small. So you kind of like go in and you could only one or two people could kind of look at the like horseshoe of stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of like here, and it's fine, it's fun, but it's like I kind of go up and the person had a couple various comics and the repop was there and I picked it up and sure enough, some guy leans into my ear trying to tell me to say, it's a repop, it's a reprint. Just like, no, and I know your answer was really good, KK. Tell what you would have said. I like your.
Oh, I don't even remember what it was, what the comment was. But I would, I'd make some snide comment, like, yeah, no shit.
I
You always
think
think the obvious.
yeah, I think you said something like, no shit. Do you always offer up like unsolicited advice or something like that? Like you said something like that's made me laugh.
I always used to get a kick out of the older guys that would go into a comic shop, and they were just vast fonts of knowledge, and they would share it freely with anybody that wanted to know something. And it was a real eye opener the day that I was in a comic shop a few months back. Well, actually, it's been a couple of years now, and a guy was asking some questions, and I was just rattling off answers off the top of my head. And he go, "Wow, you really know a lot about comics." And I said, "Yeah, I've been doing this for like 50 years." And it went, "Oh shit, I am one of those guys." I am one of those guys that just knows all this stuff. And I've probably forgotten more than a lot of collectors know.
Right. Yeah. And that's what's funny too when I walk around and I'm looking at toys, I'm looking at stuff, and then when I get into the comics and people are like, and I'm trying to make a deals with people, and I always, a lot about comics, and I was like, I say similar thing. I mean, I've been collecting comics pretty much since I was single digits,
Yeah.
So, yeah, but
So you've been collecting comics most of your life.
yeah, and my oldest brother is an artist, has a art degree as well. He's very gifted. Back in the day, I mean, he did try out and applied for Marvel, Eclipse Comics back in the day, and his style, I think they weren't into his style, but he's very, very talented. But he, kind of, I had artistic ability as a little kid, and he was always kind of showing me, reading me comics as a toddler, so that's really
He should have tried Malibu. He probably would have gotten published.
right.
And
Yeah.
then Marvel would have snatched him up.
Yeah, his style. That's why I like Mark Teixeira. My older brother's style it has a grit to it. The way that he draws and hatches, the way he draws.
That also explains why you like Dan Brereton's art.
Yes, and Dan and
Sam Keith
and Bisley and
yeah,
Bisley.
and Bisley, yeah.
It's the line. There's a way that it's just there's a grit to the way that those artists do it. So yeah.
I have those Bisley magazines. I have to find them. I'm going to press those because the problem they have is some spine stress. So I might be able to get a lot of that out.
I'll show you. I have a couple more here, just a few, but I'll show a couple others. Let's see. So we'll show these. You'll like this one, Kollecting Kaos, because this one is it's not really wouldn't call it a mainstream stream comic, but definitely older book. And I was so excited when I found it and I pressed it, and it came out as a really nice high grade book.
Yeah, I should probably press mine.
Right. I love this artwork.
Oh, yeah.
So definitely painted style.
Well, the inside art is no slouch either.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love because he was involved with the war and kind of the mascot to the troops, and that it really, really cool the way that they did it. Anyway, so that one came out great. Love that.
Somebody else that was doing the stuff for the war, World War II, was Seuss, Jonathan Seuss, Dr. Seuss. We know him
Yes.
as. He did a lot of films, training films for the Army on what not to do.
Yeah, I recently saw like an old Antiques Roadshow episode where some guy had like a prototype for one of Dr. Seuss's like a bird, one of those
Yeah.
like wild, like with the long beak, and it was just a
Yeah, he
hand,
did his own. He did his own.
like
what is it called?
models. It was like a working model proof of concept, I guess.
I think it's what is it when you stuff an animal? My brain's not thinking right. I can't think of it.
What do you call it? Taxidermy vibe.
Yeah, yeah. He would do a taxidermy of these weird creatures that he had in his head, and a lot of them ended up in the pages of children's books.
The thing on an Antiques Roadshow was like tens of thousands of dollars. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
well, just here browsing is popped in. I'm glad to see you. Glad you could stop in.
So a couple more, and I showed these, and I had put out a video, but these are finished. I'm gonna do a follow-up video, but this Josie,
you didn't tell me you had that.
It looks
That's an Archie Giant series. I collect those.
It looks much better now. This was the vote, so everybody voted as this one. And again, you could see, it's hard to see, but there was some where here it had a really bad like speed bumps going across, and it just flattens it out just so. It has a pretty bad spine roll, but it's still there. I tried. It didn't get it out, and I left it, but it came out really nice. I mean,
Theodore Jones just joined us.
It's Theodore. Good to see you guys. Happy early Thanksgiving to you guys out there.
I don't know how you ended up here, X Jaeger, but I'm glad you could stop in. And yeah, they're great books. They are.
Now, I had shown this one before and didn't sell, and I pressed it, and I think I might keep it now. It literally, it had so much wear, and just when you take a piece of tinfoil, you crumple it up into a ball, and if you ever try to get it back, it'll never. I felt like this cover would not ever press back, and it did it, and I was stoked. So this Casper came out.
That's the way I felt about this one.
Right? This
one turned out phenomenal. But then, part of that is I do 64 hours of pressing.
Yeah.
There's the 10 minutes that I in the hot press, then it cools down for 8 hours, and then I do an additional 56 hours in cold pressing. So yeah, that's it's not surprising that some of my books turn out nice.
Like this part, KK, almost looked like it was gonna rip. It was so, you could see the breaks of color, but it didn't. It didn't actually. It felt like it was about to just go, and it didn't. And then after you press it, it's totally redone.
What that's wear from people's fingers,
right?
And from the oils in the hands.
So I did that. I did this one. This was one of the first square bound ones that I did. That one came out okay. And I did. And then this one I put out a video. This one was, I think I'm gonna do your technique, and I'm gonna keep, this one's a really nice book, but this one had these coffee stains, and I'm gonna do your technique, I think, as a second pass on that. Collecting Kaos.
Yeah, give it a try. Filter paper or paper towels, if worse comes to worse, you can use
something
those
to absorb, right?
One of my favorite things to use are puppy pads. The smaller puppy pads.
Yeah,
those are real good because they absorb liquid like crazy. The longer you have after I do a heat press, I do a cold press, and the longer you have the cold press, the less likely it is to go back to what it was. And that's the problem I've seen with a lot of people that do pressing, is they don't leave it long enough and it ends up reverting to what it was before. And I've even seen that in a few slabs where it held the press long enough for them to put a grade on it, but then when you look at it, you go, well, hell, there's no way that's that grade because of the wrinkles in the comic. So
yeah, I was doing it a little bit of a lesser cold press, but now I have it down where it's around 18 hours, sometimes 24 hours in the cold press. 18
to 24 is a good amount of time. I just go overboard because I have this system that I use. But and it ends up being 64 hours. So
right. And I find these in relatively poor, they're dirty, they're just cast aside. And I like the idea of bringing it back. I love restoration. So yeah.
Let me bring that Gumby back out, because it was pretty dirty on the backside too. I'm going to take it out of the bag and board here. Like I said, it was pretty dirty on the backside, but look at it now.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool. The purple snit.
Yeah. And I might press it again. I might do a second press on this.
What's up, Jocelyn? Hello. Did she see that the Star Trek on was she over on my channel? I can't remember.
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yeah, she saw the one that I'm sending her.
Cool.
I don't think she saw the one that I'm not sending her.
Cool. Yeah, trying to see. Oh, I was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to press that Gumby a second time.
I was considering pressing this, but because it does have some areas. It's the Whitman puzzle.
Oh. You know, I have a soft spot for those.
I think this would improve. It does have, like, it has a crease here.
Yeah. You can press those.
I think it would come up. I haven't cleaned this. I could probably clean it around the edges. But if you're interested, KK, just let me know. I just got this. 1977.
Yeah, I like the early ones from the 50s and 60s better, but that one's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I've got some puzzles that I can't even sell them on eBay. I offered one up on eBay, and eBay took it down because it showed, well, let's call them by the proper term now. It showed some indigenous children.
Oh.
So they said I couldn't sell those because it was derogatory or whatever.
Somebody didn't like it, you know.
Yep.
But I'm trying to see. I have so many that I've pressed, but I'm trying to think of what else I can.
I'll dig them out and show them next week, those puzzles.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, with that type of stuff, with things being taken down, and I think it's just unfortunate. It shouldn't have to be like that.
It is.
What's that?
What they're trying to do is make us forget about everything that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me. It happened. It was part of our American culture. Our culture has evolved and has become a little more tolerant than what it was at one time. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't have that stuff to remind us of things, how they used to be.
Right. Let me grab those two books. I have two more things I want to show.
Right, I want to try to find that one poster again. Where was it? There it is. What do you think about that, Jocelyn? This one I'm probably going to offer for about $5, but it's folded, so it doesn't have to go into a tube. I can just put it in somebody's regular box. Not going to offer that this Friday, but I will eventually offer it up for sale. Let's see. Does anybody out there have questions for either of us? We'll be glad to answer any questions anybody has, if we can.
I am answer man. No, just kidding. I'll try. Usually can.
Between the two of us, we can answer most questions.
So this was the book that I'm gonna do. I have a video I'll put out. This book, this front, probably this like a chunk like this.
Yeah.
This book was bent in half and put it in my box. There you go. This one was this Marvel with Hayden, 1972 on this. And what it is, it's basically like all the ways you can make comics. Like if you're into the story and the different ways that, kind of like filmmaking for comics. So I love it. Friend of mine gave me this. Certainly has some decent value too.
I'll put it on your next invoice, Jocelyn.
And then,
but if you see me show another one, don't buy it, because that means it'll be a second one. I have 2 of those.
And then I know Kollecting Kaos, you're interested in this. I'll show it since it's the holidays. So this was another book that I picked up this past weekend. And again, I love it because it's just Red Ryder, and I always think of A Christmas Story with the shoot your eye out kid and da da da. So
well, that was originally a promotional giveaway comic for a Red Ryder rifle or BB gun.
So I thought this was fun.
And it's in so much better shape than the one I already have.
Yeah.
I'd really like to get my hands on it.
It just has a little bit of like a scrape, but it's still, I mean, other than that, it's really cool. What's going on? There's Dallas in the chat. What's up, Dash?
Yeah, actually, this one, you can see still has a little bit of dirt or staining on the edge, but that went all the way over. So I cleaned quite a bit of this on the edges. But you see that blue, that went all the way over to the picture itself, and that was on both sides. So sometimes I do some work on posters. The problem with working on posters is you need a pretty big area to do it in. And I did some repair work on a poster that Jocelyn bought. She never told me if she liked it or not, if she liked the work that I did on it or not. But it had some tears that I repaired, and I added some paper to the corners where it was missing some paper.
So here, I'll show. And I was conferring with Kollecting Kaos. This is my next challenge, but it'll be interesting. I don't want to mess it up, but this was this book, and this is also given to me Nightmare Before Christmas, but this is kind of like the quintessential. It's the film, the art, the vision, but this one has gold on it. But you could see when I show this, you could see this corner and I think and it's lifted here. It's not breaking. You could see about the whole most of this chunk of the corner, but I think that would press out nicely.
I would maybe a little bit introduce a little bit of moisture with some steam and cold press it for about 3 or 4 days. And
But
make sure you put something in between what you're pressing it with and the covers. I would not risk putting that in a hot press because of the metallic ink.
Yeah. All right. I won't. I'll do something. What's cool about it too is like he's glossy and this isn't. Like these guys are glossy, and it's just it's a really really cool book. And if you like animation, if you like Tim Burton, it really shows all of how he made Nightmare Before Christmas. So it's a really cool book. I ought to work on it a little bit, but I don't want to mess it up, and I certainly don't want to mess up the press. So next,
if you have a poster with a water stain on it, one of the easiest ways to get that water stain out, this might surprise you, is you need to elevate it slightly, but it needs to be supported, maybe on a screen or something. You want some type of paper underneath it that water will go through, like a filter paper or something.
Mm-hmm.
Take it outside, spray it down with a hose.
The whole thing, right? Just yeah.
And those stains should leave the poster and go into the filter paper.
Wow.
And then you have to make sure it's flattened so that you can dry it. So you have to have something big enough to put it under so it will dry. And don't forget, wet paper is weak paper. So don't pick it up before it's a little dry.
How long do you leave it when it's sopping to get dry like that?
Until it's dry. Well, when it's a little damp, you can start working with it.
Right.
But yeah, it can be dangerous but, as far as working with it. And the best way to spray it, I mean, obviously using a hose is not the best way because there's a lot of chemicals in the water. The best way to do it is actually with a pump or one of those pump sprayers, and put water in that and spray it like that.
There you go. Jocelyn's learning.
You can actually do the same thing with the comic book. It's been a long time since I did it, but I have taken a comic that had like a stain in the corner or something and held it up over the sink and just ran warm water and took my little and sprayed it down. Oh, that stain just came right out. Just ran right out of it.
So that being said, if you just had like a corner stain, you could do that like in your sink, right? You could just
sure
rinse it so that it comes off, and then you're just in a drying process and then press.
Exactly. But like I said, you got to remember, wet paper is weak paper. So if you touch that wet part, there's always a chance that it's going to break off.
Rip. Yeah. Yeah. So that's like, you got to kind of wonder, like, I mean, I assume there's, let's just say, more pro level water stain removal techniques, right?
Oh yeah.
So with different solvents and so forth, right?
Well, no, they use water. Professional conservationists generally use ionized water or distilled water, but they have these big tables, and you can put it down. You put down the paper to protect it. You put down the item that you're going to clean. You put down another sheet of this paper that protect it. And I forget what the name of the paper that I use is. Was not cheap. And then they put it on this big table. It actually has a suction to it. And then they start spraying it down and
it's pulling
everything. It pulls it right throughout. Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
But that's professional level conservation. And I can't do that for several reasons. Number one, I'm not a professional. Number two, I don't have the money for one of those tables. And number three, I don't have the room for one of those tables.
Right? And wouldn't it, I mean, what kind of cost for something like that? I would imagine,
Oh, a couple $1,000 just base price for a cheap one.
Wow.
No, it's not the same paper as that. It's
That paper's expensive too.
I just forgot the name of it.
All right.
You know,
Hey, I got to tell you though, maybe there might be a sink cleaning try in my future, because I have the double sink, I have the sprayer. Like, I would give it a shot. Why not?
yeah, and you buy a cheap comic with a water
Yeah,
stain and you give it a shot.
why not?
You
You
know,
know, give it a try.
if you paid 50 cents for the comic, what are you out? 50
worth
cents?
worth doing the video.
My favorite thing to say is, if you're going to try conserving or repairing or cleaning comics, the number one thing you have to remember is, if you're not ready to destroy a few comics, if you're not ready to ruin a few comics, don't do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
yeah,
$100 I don't care. I'm going to try it anyway.
you're doing it anyway. I'm slowly working my way up a little bit. I think I'm getting a little bit, KK, like, you're like, okay, I think I could remove that. I think I'm good. I think I'm good with that. But sometimes on certain comics, it doesn't always work out the way you think.
Yeah.
But that's the fun part of it.
Yeah, my pressing technique I've been working on for 15 years.
Wow.
That's why I've pretty much got it down to a science.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I ask you. I'm like, ever work on metallic lettering? And I'm like, I'll see what he says. And I'm trying a couple things. I'm like, my press
I did
is
press
different.
something that was metallic, and it totally ruined it. So
Ruined it. Yeah.
but I think I had the press too hot. I think if you did that and you did the heat down low around 130 degrees, it'd probably be okay.
I still want to try
But I don't know if your press will go down to 130.
I don't think so. I think it's a no. But I want to try your really bad waffling, and then the iron, and then the press. That's what I want to try next.
Yeah, iron each individual page and then do the press.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, a lot of the people that do comic book repairs, restoration, whatever, say you never iron a comic. Well, hell, I've been ironing comics since the 70s. What the hell's their problem?
I got to get a little. I almost bought one, but the lady wanted too much at the flea. The little hand iron with the little triangle on the end. I want to get one of those next.
Get a tack iron.
Tack iron, yeah.
Or buy one of the cheap little. Go to Walmart, buy a travel iron. They're about this tall. They're about 4 inches, and they're perfect.
Nice. What are you thankful for? Serious question.
I'm thankful that I'm alive, that I have some friends, and that I have people that I communicate on a regular basis all around the world. I'm thankful that I can share what little bit of knowledge I have with people. So, is there something else I should be thankful for?
Everybody's different, but we have similar. We probably have similar crossovers. Yeah, that's right, Jocelyn. I would have said, family, friends, and health. I think that sums it up.
Well, I look at it this way, okay, and I actually told this to my wife one time. She got me back for it, though. I woke up this morning. I'm healthy. I'm still married. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. The way she got me back was, one day I was doing some work in the office, and she just walked in and stared at me for a minute. And I said, "What?" She said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Turned around and walked off.
Yeah. Well, perspective, right? Yeah. He's Dal's Flip and Dash might be a little younger than you and I, KK.
Yeah, I'm sure. He's thankful for dinosaurs.
Triceratops. Yes.
T-Rex.
What a T-Rex. And I would probably put Ankylosaurus.
Stegosaurus was my favorite.
What was that?
Stegosaurus was always my
Stegosaurus.
favorite. Yeah. The spines on the tail. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I used to like the guy Ankylosaurus because he had that like mace tail, and he could
Yeah, but he was very early on the dinosaur scale. I mean,
anyway, I'm gonna go. Are you gonna stay on? We're right about the hour-ish mark, but up to you if you're gonna keep chatting with folks.
yeah, I might keep chatting. If anybody wants to say anything, that's fine.
Wise and strong. He's being funny. All right, well, folks, have an awesome Thanksgiving. I'm gonna go grab a little snack, start to chillax. It's been a long week for me.
I still have coffee. I'm not done yet.
And Friday, hang out with us on Friday, you guys. 6 o'clock start over on my channel. Shout out to everybody out there. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and get some rest and hang out with your friends and fam or whatever. Hug your pets, hug your loved ones, and be in touch. Thanks, KK, for having me on. Been a hot minute.
Anytime. You're always welcome.
Yeah. Have an awesome day, you guys, tomorrow, and we'll see you on Friday. Look for a little teaser preview probably from yours truly, and I'm going to publish a couple more pressing videos in the next couple days. So
let's see if I can show that here. The one that I did. I don't know if I can or not. I have to find it.
Okay. Bye, guys. See ya.
Oh, it's in here somewhere. I think I lost it, or I'm looking in the wrong folder. Probably looking in the wrong folder. Finding the perfect gift for somebody this holiday season? You might want to try Horizon Picks Black Friday sale. It doesn't matter what they collect. I mean, maybe they collect Hot Wheels or Batman or superheroes. You could always give them a Hot Wheels Batmobile. Or maybe they like monster trucks. We've got those too. There's going to be a bunch of different people on. All of us are going to have a good time. Each one's going to get about 30 minutes. You could find some jewelry or maybe some plush or something else that you need. Who knows? Maybe you're looking for that Uno Jurassic Park or Jurassic World game. Or maybe it's a little simpler. Maybe you're just looking for a refrigerator magnet as an alien Elvis. Whatever you're looking for, you can bet you will probably find it this Friday on Horizon Picks channel. There you go. I forgot to upload that to YouTube. I probably should. I'll upload it when I finish here. I think that's going to be about it for tonight. We started earlier than what my scheduled time was. Went about the same amount of time, about an hour and a half, or actually about an hour. So everybody have yourself a great Thanksgiving. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, that's okay. Have yourself a great day off or Thursday. If you have to work tomorrow, I'm sorry, but I've been there, done that. Yeah, have yourself a great day, people. We'll see you next time. Bye. If I can get this thing to work.